JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, police investigating double murder in Waterford, St. Catherine. The police are probing the shooting death of a man and a woman in Waterford, St. Catherine yesterday. The deceased have been identified as 24-year-old Keyshawn Thomas, otherwise called Raheem, of Ponsettia Way, Brayton, and a 39-year-old Zanisha Mackenzie, a vendor of London Avenue, Passage Forth, both in St. Catherine. The police said Thomas and Mackenzie were at a shop when they were pounced upon by two armed men who opened fire, hitting them several times. The incident happened around 7:20 p.m. The police were alerted and they were taken to hospital where both were pronounced dead. 4 men arrested after police seized $4 million worth of Ganja. 4 men are now in police custody following the seizure of over 1,000 pounds of marijuana worth $4 million, found concealed under stones in knitted bags during an operation in St. James on Wednesday. The police said about 12:05 p.m. lawmen were in the area when they saw a group of men aboard a Peterbilt motor truck and a Nissan Vanette motor vehicle who aroused their suspicion. On seeing the police, some of the men allegedly ran, leaving the vehicles behind. However, the police said 4 of the men were accosted, searched, and closer inspection of the vehicles revealed 31 knitted bags with ganja weighing over 1,000 pounds, concealed beneath stones and other materials inside the back of the truck. Both vehicles were also seized, the police said. The identities of the men are being withheld pending further investigations. Kingston man charged for shooting at police. A man has been arrested and charged with illegal possession of firearm and assault at common law after he allegedly assaulted and fired gunshots at police officers on Darling Street, Kingston, on September 25. He has been identified as 27-year-old Ian Somerville, otherwise called Buju, unemployed, of Wellington Street, Denham Town in Kingston. Reports are that an operation was being conducted at 11:30 a.m. when Somerville pulled a firearm from his waistband and fired at the police. The police returned gunfire and disarmed Somerville. He was shot in the right arm and assisted to hospital where he was treated and subsequently charged on Wednesday, September 30. His court date is being finalized. 13-year-old charged with burglary and larceny. A 13-year-old boy of Port Antonio has been charged for breaches of the Larceny Act after he allegedly stole an iPhone 6 from a woman's bedside while she slept. Reports are that at about 12 a.m. on September 30, a woman left her bedroom window open and went to bed. About 4:30 a.m., she woke up and realized that her rose gold iPhone 6 cellular phone was missing. It was then discovered that her side bedroom window mesh was cut out. The robbery was reported to the police. The teen was arrested for another crime and his knapsack was searched, and the complainant's rose gold iPhone 6 cellular phone was found. He has been charged for burglary and larceny. His court date is being finalized. 2 shot, 1 fatally in downtown Kingston. A man is dead, and another has been treated for bullet wounds following an attack in downtown Kingston on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as 68-year-old bar operator Aldwin Stewart. A 53-year-old man was injured in the attack. The incident occurred at the intersection of Water Lane and Foster Lane about 6:30 p.m. Airport workers help arrivals avoid COVID-19 tracking app. There are growing concerns in government circles that state employees based at the islands, 2 major international airports, are accepting bribes to help individuals arriving in the island to avoid the measures designed to track their movement while in quarantine. This in light of anecdotal evidence that Jamaicans coming from overseas who ignore the quarantine rules are behind the recent spike in the number of positive novel coronavirus cases in the country, which climbed by 149 yesterday to 6,704, with 116 COVID-19 related deaths. A probe has confirmed that the rate being charged by the Corp state personnel at the airports is US $200 to help individuals beat the system. For the US $200, the state officials move people through the arrival areas at the airports without them going through the process implemented by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to track the movement of individuals arriving in the island. You have persons coming in today and they want to go to a funeral or party or wedding tomorrow, so they don't want to spend the required 14 days in quarantine. What they do is to make the link, and when they come to the airport, they give the state official the money to ensure that the mandatory tracking app is not put on their phone, and so they cannot be tracked, said a source. This is now a lucrative side business for some persons at the airports who are moving 5 or 6 persons each day and collecting as much as US $1,000, approximately 140,000 Jamaican dollars, added the source, who confirmed that one person attached to the Housing, Opportunity, Production and Employment Hope program, who was assigned to one of the major international airports, has been caught in the act. But he was new to the business and was following other big men who have been running this scheme from shortly after the borders were reopened, declared the source. A second person attached to the O program has also reportedly been dismissed after being linked to the scheme. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces, JCF's Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay yesterday confirmed that the police are aware of the scheme. According to Lindsay, following investigations, the findings were turned over to the relevant agencies for action to be taken. She said no member of the JCF was found to be involved in the scheme. Under Jamaica's controlled re-entry program, people arriving at the airports are screened on arrival by heat-sensing scanners for high body temperature prior to entering the immigration hall. Those deemed to be high risk are then subject to COVID-19 tests. But even without the results, Jamaicans returning to the island are required to remain in home quarantine for 14 days from the date of entry and are allowed to leave home only once per day for basic needs such as obtaining food or medical supplies. Visitors to the island are required to remain in the areas deemed the COVID-19 Resilient Corridor, which gives health authorities the ability to trace and contain their movement. The corridor is on the north coast, seaward side from Negril to Port Antonio, the south coast from Bluefields Bay in Westmoreland, eastward to Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth and Mandeville, and New Kingston and its environs. To track the movement of returning Jamaicans and visitors, the Jam COVID-19 mobile app was introduced, and individuals coming to the island are required to keep a fully charged smartphone with them at all times with GPS permissions enabled. But several individuals have been beating the system by leaving their phones in one location while they go about their business, while others have been paying the US $200 to avoid the app being placed on their phones. Just under 2 months ago, Lindsay announced that checks by cops showed that some individuals who had arrived on the island did not get the app downloaded on their phones so that authorities could be alerted when they left their zones. We also found that a number of persons are giving false addresses upon arrival, so when they leave their zones or fail to log their temperatures and the police check their locations, they are not found, said Lindsay. Gangsters demand inclusion in St. Richard's primary project. A project to repave parking lots and other sections of the compound at St. Richard's Primary on Red Hills Road in St. Andrew has been halted weeks after thugs reportedly scaled the perimeter wall, demanding that they be employed on the site. Although officials are shying away from linking the invasion to the work stoppage, Superintendent Aaron Fletcher, who is in charge of the St. Andrew North Police Division, said that he had offered protection for the work to continue, but a decision was later made to discontinue the project. Men demanded that the work stop until they knew what is going on. They wanted to be employed on the project, he said. Arrangements were made to take on some of these men, but at the time of my intervention, I said things couldn't go like that. Men couldn't just invade a site and demand work, and that is yielded to. What I agreed with the parties concerned is that I would provide some police coverage to ensure there is no interference from thugs. Fletcher said he was later advised that the National Works Agency, which had been carrying out the works after a request from the school's Parent-Teacher Association, would be pulling the plug on the project. That was done for a different reason other than the invasion, he said, emphasizing that there were no reports of weapons being drawn by the men. When NAA Communications Manager Stephen Shaw was contacted, he said that the project was altered due to a history of violence in the area and the real threats that emerged on the works that were underway. Shaw pointed to frequent events of violence unfolding within surrounding communities, saying that the NAA hoped to return to the location when there was calm. There have been frequent shootings along the Red Hills Road corridor from 100 Lane to an area known as Common, located close to St. Richard's Primary. With schools scheduled to reopen next week, Chairman James Dunn said the incomplete works could pose a dust nuisance. He said the works were not discontinued as a result of the men invading the school, but were stopped by the NWA after they were allegedly contacted by Pauline Samuda, the wife of Member of Parliament Carl Samuda, after she inspected the project. One of the main parking lots we were hoping to have resurfaced is actually worse than before. They had started the work. The tractor was there, dug up some of the areas. Marl was dumped to do the resurfacing, but the marl has not been thrown out as yet, and everything has stopped. With the rain, I don't even know if the material will be reusable, he said. I would love for the NWA to come back in and finish the job they started. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.